you do if you go to a breakfast restaurant and they have no eggs? I'm Brad Meyer, restaurant critic for Houston Community Newspapers.
I'm Mark Hayter, and I teach Pig Latin at Reeves Middle School, and I can't wait to hear the answer to this question.
Somebody has got to do it. Absolutely. Well, this time we are on Facebook now, and we listen to our readers. They sent us a suggestion. They said, you know what, Brad and Mark, you guys need to go to Compadres Texas Cafe down in the Woodlands, Shenandoah, one of those.
You take Robinson Road till it dies, headed east, and it turns into Hannah. Take a ride on Hannah, and it's right there.
Stop where all the pickup trucks are.
Yeah, pickup trucks and.
So we go there, and it's a breakfast restaurant. It's open from like 6 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon, something like that.
Brad, I'm sorry. Yeah, they don't advertise it as being a breakfast restaurant that I saw, but they say breakfast served all day, and they have a breakfast menu and. Right. So I mean, but the focus is they have breakfast. And I'm sort of old school in the think. You know, I sort of think if I go to a breakfast restaurant, I'm going to get eggs. Well, silly me. I ordered eggs, but about 15 or 20 minutes later, the waitress came wandering over to the table and said, "Listen, we got overexcited, and all we got is scrambled eggs." Now, I'm not sure how that happens. Maybe they just took all their eggs and beat them up in a bowl, and that's all they had left. But she came back, and that's what they said. So she said, you know, you can order something else, which is good. I understand that. Or you can have scrambled eggs. Well, I don't really want scrambled eggs, but... You know, Brad, at that point, the waitress was halfway nice. After this, because of you, Brad, she kind of turned. To be honest, Brad ordered, and I've got the menu right here, ladies and gentlemen. He ordered the country, let me say, Brad, sing for a minute, I gotta find this. The country favorite breakfast, 2 biscuits covered in gravy, sausage gravy, 2 eggs, and hash browns or country potatoes. And Bradson said, what an idiot, I'm sorry. He said, what's the difference between a country potato and a hash brown, except he didn't ask it the way I did. He asked it, what's the difference between a country potato?
I'm not belligerent.
And at that point, she looked at you
and
I
said,
turn on
it's
over.
Yeah.
We need to get out of here.
It deteriorated rapidly because there were people coming in, ordering their food, getting their food before we were served. I mean, long before. And once she determined that they didn't have anything other than scrambled eggs, I assumed, okay, they're going to make these eggs and they're going to be coming out. No, they weren't. It was another 15, maybe 20 minutes before the food finally arrived. We were ready to walk out, just throw a couple of bucks on the table for the iced teas and walk out.
And I was so scared, Brad, you were going to embarrass me more.
I didn't.
Because this guy will say it like it is or like he's thinking.
Well, they do have a sign back on the wall, a little handwritten sign. It says something to the effect that if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all, which is pretty much what I did.
Right, you did do that. I was very proud of that. And it wasn't just us. I saw a couple of old ladies come in and they sat down and they waited and waited for a waitress, and finally one person got up and went and got menus, and eventually they got their order taken, but it took them a long time to get their food.
Well, and there are 4 working men behind us there, guys in do-rags and tattoos. They were saying something.
What they said is they looked at the waitress as they came in, and she said, "Don't you look mean at me like that." And I don't know if she was joking or what, but they said the last time we were here, we had to wait an hour and a half, and we got docked written up at where they work. But the point I'm trying to make here is, I don't know what Brad's trying to make, but the point I'm trying to make is that I ordered a club sandwich, and Brad, I don't know how to eat them. They're a very good steak sandwich. It was thinking, what are you supposed to do with those, Brad? What, you crunch them down?
I guess so. Now, the fries were good.
Fries were good. They had little crumbly things on them. Very good. Club sandwich was okay. The fries were good. But, Brad, the fact that I was with you, even though I was just syrup would be dripping off me, I was so sweet to this lady, it didn't matter. I would say thank you and all, and she'd just turn because she was mad at Brad.
I think she was having a bad day. And you know what?
I wouldn't want to be a waitress.
I can understand how you could go to this restaurant and have a great dining experience. It's not fancy. It's a plain kind of place. Just a big rectangular box of a restaurant. Not fancy at all. Not overly expensive.
Very impressive menu. They got all kinds of stuff on the menu.
The menu's fair. Yeah. It's a decent menu. I think we just hit them on a bad day and bad stuff happened. While we were there, after the food had finally been delivered, a guy came in carrying about 10, 12 dozen eggs. So I think she's right. They ran out of eggs. I think they were waiting on the eggs, and then they finally gave up and said, this guy's had his order in for 30, 35 minutes. We better go ahead and give him something. And that left a little bit bad taste in my mouth. But if the waitress had just been a little bit more upfront and said, listen, this is why it's taken so long. We're going to get this food right out to you. Something. But she just left us in the dark and never came back. Yeah. And that's not a good thing for a server.
Well, it's not. We've harped on the service. Compadre Cafe, Texas Cafe. The truth is, in late July one day, the service was not really good. I'm sure the next day it was super. Your food was good. I liked it. Brad said his gravy didn't have as much sausage in it as he liked. But other than that, it's a nice place. But I
might not go during rush hour. I might not go during rush hour in the future. If I was going at around 11 o'clock, probably a real good place to go.
Because it wasn't that crowded when we were there, and it still took a long time.
Well, it did. Probably because of you. I'm Brad Meyer, Rush Chairman for Sigma Chi. No, restaurant reviewer for Houston Community Newspapers.
Remember that if you have to write in or holler at anybody, was Brad Meyer. Mark Hayter, columnist for the Courier and the Villager, and I'm one heck of a nice guy, so much nicer.
He really is the nicer of the two, but that's not saying much. See you next time. Bon appetit.